Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here, so remember to subscribe for the latest videos. When it comes to political royalty, few names carry as much weight in the American imagination as Clinton, and for years Chelsea Clinton, the daughter of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, has been a familiar face to the public, a figure who grew up in the glaring spotlight of the White House, evolved into a poised professional, and managed to build a life that feels both private and deeply fascinating. But while Chelsea's personal achievements and public advocacy have long been admired, there's one figure in her life who has, until recently, been quietly captivating observers in a completely different way: her husband. And let me tell you, the first time you see him, or really take a close look, you might find yourself blinking twice, leaning in toward the screen, and muttering the same phrase that's currently blowing up comment sections across the internet. I can't believe that's Chelsea Clinton's husband. His name is Marc Mezvinsky, and while some may have heard of him before in passing, the latest photographs, candid moments, and public appearances have triggered a wave of renewed curiosity and disbelief. It's not just about how he looks, though that's certainly a major part of the conversation. It's the way he carries himself, the effortless confidence, the subtle but undeniable style that makes him stand out in a crowd without ever seeming to try. Born into a political family of his own, Marc has a pedigree that might surprise people who assumed he was an outsider swept into the Clinton orbit. His father was a congressman, his mother a well-known figure in Pennsylvania politics, and yet Marc himself chose a very different path, steering his career toward the world of finance. But what's truly causing jaws to drop lately is the visual transformation he's undergone over the years. In older photos, Marc was the archetypal clean-cut, somewhat reserved young professional, a perfect match for the polished, intelligent Chelsea. Fast forward to now, and the man exudes an entirely different energy. The salt and pepper hair, the lean yet athletic build, the tailored suits that somehow look like they were designed specifically to make him appear like a modern-day James Bond. All of it combines to create an image that's generating thousands of comments and reposts online. People are saying he looks more like a Hollywood leading man than a Wall Street executive, and when he steps out with Chelsea, the two of them have the kind of chemistry and symmetry that makes photographers angle for that perfect shot. In the most recent series of images making the rounds, Marc is seen escorting Chelsea to an exclusive gala in New York, his hand lightly on her back, his smile confident but never overdone, his gaze focused yet relaxed. Fans have pointed out that there's a certain cinematic quality to him, like the kind of character who might walk into a room in a romantic drama and immediately change the trajectory of the plot. And yet, beyond the physical appearance, there's also a warmth, a quiet charm that people find magnetic. Interviews with those who've met him describe him as gracious, articulate, and attentive, a man who knows how to stand in the public eye without being consumed by it. And maybe that's part of the disbelief people are expressing online, that someone who seems this polished, this striking, and yet this grounded, is not a movie star or model, but the man who married into one of the most famous families in the world. The contrast between the intense public scrutiny of Chelsea's life and the relatively under-the-radar presence of Marc only adds to the intrigue. And now, with these new photos going viral, the conversation isn't just about Chelsea Clinton anymore. It's about the husband who's become an unexpected breakout star in his own right. And here's where the fascination with Marc Mezvinsky takes an even deeper turn, because while the new wave of public attention started with those photos, him in the sharp suit, Chelsea in that effortlessly elegant gown, it's the fuller story behind the man that's feeding the wildfire of intrigue. People want to know, who exactly is this person who can stand beside a Clinton and somehow look like he's stepped straight out of a luxury lifestyle magazine? The answer, as it turns out, is a mix of history, transformation, and that undefinable quality that certain individuals just seem to possess. Marc isn't simply a handsome face on Chelsea's arm. He's a man with a layered backstory and a reputation for quiet but significant influence. Born into a politically connected family, he grew up understanding the rhythms of public life, but also the value of staying grounded. That grounding has served him well, because while Chelsea's upbringing was famously documented by the press, Marc managed to maintain a sense of normalcy through school, college, and into his early career. Friends describe him as someone who's always been comfortable in high-powered circles without ever being consumed by them, a rare skill in any world, but especially in the upper echelons of politics and finance. Professionally, he made a name for himself in investment banking and later in hedge fund management, but it's his personal evolution that's catching everyone's eye today. In earlier years, Marc's style was understated to the point of blending in. He was the archetype of the clean, buttoned-up financial professional. But in recent times, perhaps influenced by the natural confidence that comes with age, success, and a solid marriage, Marc's look has sharpened in a way that feels both intentional and effortless. The tailored suits fit just so, the subtle sheen of a well-kept beard, the kind of hair that suggests both careful grooming and a refusal to fuss too much over it. It's a balancing act that fashion stylists often call studied nonchalance, and Marc has apparently mastered it. And then there's the dynamic with Chelsea, something that can't be faked. The way they move together, the unspoken comfort between them, the easy smiles exchanged when they think no one's watching. At the gala that started this current wave of buzz, onlookers noted how often Marc seemed to anticipate Chelsea's needs without a word, a glass of champagne appearing in her hand just as she finished the last sip, a gentle touch to guide her past a crowded knot of photographers, the kind of attentive but natural gestures that speak volumes about a relationship's health. In an era where so many public couples feel staged or strained, there's something refreshing about seeing two people who, despite the weight of their last names and the glare of the cameras, appear genuinely at ease with each other. That's part of why the internet has latched onto him, not just because he's striking in a suit, but because he seems to embody a mix of confidence and humility that's increasingly rare in public life. And perhaps the biggest twist of all? Marc has managed to avoid becoming a political spouse in the traditional sense. He's not out there giving speeches, courting headlines, or positioning himself for his own run at office. Instead, he seems perfectly content to let Chelsea shine while supporting her with quiet strength from just a step to the side, a position that, in its own way, makes him even more appealing to observers. The more people see of Marc Mezvinsky in these candid and semi-formal settings, the more they're convinced that Chelsea Clinton's husband isn't just another footnote in a famous family story. He's a figure worth noticing in his own right. And if the reaction to these latest photos is any indication, this won't be the last time Marc finds himself at the center of a viral moment. In fact, given how quickly images can travel and narratives can build in the digital age, it's likely we're only seeing the beginning of a growing fascination, one that blends political legacy, modern style, and the timeless allure of a man who can turn heads without ever seeming to try.